Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there lived a beautiful young princess named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Snow White's beauty was known throughout the kingdom, but her stepmother, the wicked queen, was jealous of her and would often ask her magic mirror, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? The magic mirror always replied, You, my queen, are the fairest in the land. But as Snow White grew older, her beauty surpassed even that of the queen, and one day, the mirror replied differently, Snow White is the fairest of them all. Enraged with jealousy, the queen ordered her huntsman to take Snow White deep into the forest and kill her. The huntsman, however, couldn't bring himself to do it and instead told Snow White to run away and hide in the forest. He returned to the queen with the deer's heart as proof of Snow White's death. Alone in the forest, Snow White came across a cottage belonging to 7 dwarfs who worked in the nearby mines. She entered the cottage and, finding it empty, decided to clean it and make it her home. The dwarfs, named Dog, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey, were surprised to find Snow White in their cottage when they returned home. After hearing her story, they allowed her to stay with them. Meanwhile, the queen, suspecting that Snow White was still alive, consulted her magic mirror, which revealed the truth. The queen decided to take matters into her own hands and transform herself into an old peddler woman, offering Snow White a poisoned apple. She told Snow White that it was a magical apple that would grant her wishes. Snow White, trusting the old woman, took a bite and fell into a deep sleep, as the apple was cursed. When the dwarfs returned, they found Snow White seemingly lifeless. They placed her in a glass coffin, and grief-stricken, they mourned her. Time passed, and one day, a prince passing through the forest came across Snow White's coffin. Struck by her beauty, he kissed her, breaking the curse. Snow White awoke, and the prince, realizing that he had found his true love, asked her to marry him. Snow White agreed, and they invited the dwarfs to the royal wedding. The queen, hearing of Snow White's revival and impending wedding, was filled with rage. She attended the wedding but was punished for her wickedness. A pair of red-hot iron shoes was brought forth, and she was forced to dance in them until she fell down dead. Snow White and the prince were married and lived happily ever after. The dwarfs returned to their cottage, and Snow White became a beloved queen known for her kindness and beauty.